Hello, everybody. So today I want to talk a little bit about aerodrome finance, or more so, what I really expect is going to boost aerodrome, like the next big aerodrome specific boost, right? Meaning when the market goes up, everything goes up, or if something is really good for Ethereum, then everything on layer two, such as Base, is also going to go up. But in terms of specific for aerodrome, there's one thing coming up that I really do expect it to jump the price action, both from the initial, or actually the second announcement, as well as just utility. And that's with Coinbase Business, also was previously known as Coinbase Alpha. And I really think it's going to be a big deal. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's been under the radar, because when the news first came out that this was going to happen, Aerodrome jumped up 40% in a couple of days. So it's definitely not that it was not thought about or heard of, but in crypto, I say this all the time, right? We have very short-term memories with everything. Now, it's what has it done for us recently? And then we lose hype and conviction if we haven't thought about stuff. So I dug a little bit more into exactly what is Coinbase Alpha or Coinbase Business, and we'll go a little bit over what it's going to be and why and how is it going to affect Aerodrome. And obviously, if you own Aero, I think this is important for you guys to know. And let me know your opinions down below if you think I missed anything about this new update, or if there's any questions you have, or if you just want to shit talk or shill Aero. Either way, let's hear about down below. But let's start talking about this. So first and foremost, with when is this going to happen, we don't have an exact date, right? I know it's annoying, it's obnoxious, but it's going to happen this year. They're already kind of in the pre-setup and testing of everything. And it was mentioned that by the end of this year, and this was just in mid-July, like 2 weeks ago, they said it's going to be up and running fully. Okay, awesome. What the hell is it? All right. So it is made mostly for small to medium-sized businesses, right? And its main purpose is, think of it as kind of a savings or a checking account bank for crypto for a business. If we get that understanding, we can much more easily move forward and explain how this is going to work. So they're trying to attract a bunch of small and medium businesses onto here to help out with everything from payment processes to paying invoices, or even paying employees through crypto. And that's awesome that Coinbase is going to start doing this. I mean, that is a big deal, because I feel like it can certainly be used, right? And if you believe that all of finance is kind of going digital, then everything is going to kind of do this. And I find it very non-coincidental that in the same week that they first announced Coinbase Alpha, it was announced that JP Morgan, pretty effing big bank that's known to help out with small, medium businesses and startup companies, threw on their own stable coin, or we'll call it a stable coin, onto Base ecosystem. Not a coincidence, people, right? So this is really exciting, because it's going to increase just the one amount that people know about Aerodrome, even if they don't realize that they're using it. It's going to greatly increase the TVL, the total value locked on Base ecosystem. And with this Coinbase Alpha Business, they're going to make it so Aerodrome can be directly used on the app, on the phone and the desktop, as opposed to going to aerodromefinance.com. If that sounds like a small deal, or you're not really sure why that matters, is so I've used aerodromefinance.com. I used it to put myself into a liquidity pool of Aerodrome versus USDC to get pretty much print-free money of both. Right? It wasn't a huge hassle. Right? I mean, I just had to take stuff from Coinbase or anywhere, move it to Coinbase wallet, then put it on Aerodrome Finance, and then put it in. Well, this cuts out the whole middleman. If it's on the app that you likely already have, you're more likely to do things like stake Aerodrome if it only takes you 2 or 3 clicks on one app versus transferring it 2 or 3 times, right? Those of us who have already done it will do it regardless, but this will increase the amount of usage, the amount of total value that's locked in, the amount of trading volume that's done through and with Aero, and this will be great for both Coinbase and Aerodrome. And again, just another announcement stating when this is going to happen, I think is going to be a huge booster. So the whole goal, rationale, and reason for them doing this is so that way they can bring a crap ton of businesses onto base ecosystem. And that makes sense, right? I mean, retail we know comes and goes, right? The vast majority of us came in here and already planning on leaving just to come back in the bear market or whenever you think the next bull run is, or et cetera. Most of us have a plan for that. Businesses will stay, which is phenomenal news for one, stability, and the fact that Aerodrome and probably Moonwell is going to stay up higher through the bear market compared to most others. It's likely going to outperform it because businesses are going to keep money on base if they're using it to pay their other invoices or to pay their own employees. And they can do this connected through Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or any of the ERC20 tokens. Like, they got a pretty good range they can do with this when it launches. And then they already plan on expanding everything to make it a larger ecosystem to where speculating, where it's probably going to turn into like a multi-bridging service, or maybe they'll open something, or they'll use something, speculating, something like Chainlink to help with interoperability on the inside of it. I think they'd be more likely to use Chainlink than Quant, as much as I love Quant, just because US tends to stick with US, UK tends to stick with UK. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I could see that being an option down the road because it makes sense from a business perspective. So I'm expecting this to be very good news. I'm waiting for the update when they go ahead and say, hey, we are live, or we're going live on this date, because I think a lot of people are going to flock in. Depending on where the price is, I might jump in more into it when I hear it coming in, if it's close to my average or below. And I think a lot of people are going to do that. And what happens when you have some good news, and even if the people who buy it first are only the people who already own the token, the price goes up, right? What do other people think? Oh gosh, this price is going up. That must be a good token. Then they jump in and then just capitulates and it keeps going up. This happens all the freaking time. The last time you bought a crypto, it likely happened. You were probably part of that formula. But regardless, let's take a quick look at the charts, just kind of see how things are, what we're looking for, and we'll call it a day. Okay, guys, so here's on TradingView. This is the last year, because honestly, going of all time is just another 2 months or so. 5 months, whatever. So we're looking at this right now. Where we are floating is around the 76.5 cents. And so we got right here. When we're looking for general resistance or support lines, again, I can zoom in, but I want to keep it more on this gross scale. Is if we're looking where this, right around the 84, call it 85 cents, look how many green candles and wicks there are. Let's go ahead and just mark this one real quick. So yep. All right. And we end up having it right on a lot of areas of support and resistance the whole way. Green candle ends. Here acted more of a resistance. Got back here to resistance and support. So 85, 87 cents we've already hit recently. So the next big one on the gross scale we're looking for, again, I can put in fib levels. I can make this a lot more technical. Realize, guys, this is a more of a gross statement here. But looking right here around the 102 to 104, and we've got several. I guess I can put another line here real quick for you guys. So I don't know if you can see it as well as I can. 103, that's close enough on this. If we zoom in, we could be more specific. So this would be one of the next lines, non-fib, that we'd be really looking for. And again, a zone of support, just below support. Yeah, top of resistance. Right? So this is where we're looking for next, is $1 or 3. And the next one we can just just keeps on going up like it should. So these are the numbers I'm looking for in the short term. In all reality, it should never be surprising that this is just over $1. Right? Again, when we have something that's on a flat number, specifically fives and zeros, people get emotional, panic, or they just say it's time to sell. So going over $1 or really going over it's almost always an area of resistance, just for that fact. There you guys. That's the short version of what it's looking like Coinbase Alpha or Coinbase Business is going to be. Obviously, do your own research. Look into a little bit more if this excites you, or if you think, like I do, that this is going to be a big booster. This way you can get more conviction into your timing. Should I get more? Should I hodl? Should I DCA? Should I sell this shit? All right. Educate yourselves. I'm here to help give you guys information. And if you have more questions, put them down in the comments below. I'll definitely go ahead and talk more about this in more detail. Not an issue. I just want to make sure I got the preliminary basics out of the way. So let me know what you guys think. Does this excite you? Because it sure as heck does me. I think it's going to be great news for Aerodrome. And tell me whatever the heck else you want. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.